Some secrets of the prairie are better left buried, but Henrik Olsen never did. Dakota Prairie. Wind howled like lost souls. Endless fields stretched under gray skies. Small wooden houses scattered like forgotten memories. One man moved quietly among them, Henrik Olsen. No one knew where he came from. No one knew what he wanted. Pale skin, piercing eyes, silence that made the prairie shiver. People whispered. Farmers locked their doors before dusk. Children warned to stay inside. Dogs refused to follow him. Henrik lived alone. Cabin at the edge of town. Smoke curled from the chimney. No friendly voices inside. Just the wind. Sometimes a scream, carried by the night. Rumors began with Mrs. Thompson's sheep. Dead, eyes wide, mouth twisted in terror. The town shrugged. Wolves, they said. Just wolves. But Henrik had been seen walking past her farm the night before. Some claimed he smiled at shadows. Others said he talked to the wind. No one dared confront him. Life went on. Markets, saloon gossip, children playing in dusty streets. Yet a chill hung over the town. Something was coming, something dark, moving quietly. Henrik Olsen was no ordinary man. He had secrets, dark secrets. The prairie itself seemed to recoil from him. The first night of October arrived. New moon, stars hidden behind thick clouds. Perfect night for something to begin. Something horrifying. Someone vanished. No trace. Just the wind, carrying whispers of fear. The town did not know it yet. Henrik Olsen was at the center of a storm. A storm that would swallow the town whole. The prairie watched. The town feared. Henrik smiled. Before we uncover the next terrifying, share this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more dark historical mysteries. The prairie stretched endlessly. Waves of golden grass bending under a bitter wind. The town was small, a cluster of wooden buildings, a saloon, a blacksmith, a church that smelled of smoke and dust. Children ran barefoot through the streets, laughing, ignoring the whispers. Farmers argued over fences. Merchants counted coins. Life went on. But Henrik Olsen watched it all, from the edge of the town, from shadows no one noticed. He never joined, never spoke, only watched, eyes like ice, always calculating. The townsfolk tried to ignore him, at first, but strange things began to happen. Cattle disappeared, slowly. No tracks, no blood, just gone. A wagon overturned near the river. Driver swore he saw a figure moving in the fog. Henrik? Maybe. Children began to whisper about the man with pale skin, the man who smiled at nothing. Some said they heard him talking at night, whispers on the wind, words no one could understand. Even the sheriff felt it, a chill every time he passed Henrik's cabin, a sense that something was watching him. The local blacksmith swore his tools moved by themselves, hammer in one place, found somewhere else. People started locking doors earlier, windows barred with rough boards. The prairie was alive with fear, and Henrik, he thrived in it. One evening, a young girl named Leela wandered too far, flowers in her hands, laughing at the wind. Henrik watched, from a distance, shadows hiding him. When she returned, she was pale, silent, eyes wide, whispering about someone who smiled behind the trees. The town grew uneasy, but they had no proof, no reason to confront him. Yet. The air thickened, storm clouds gathering. Not the weather, something darker. Henrik Olsen was no longer just a stranger. He was a warning, a shadow over their lives. And as night fell, the prairie seemed to hold its breath, waiting. Before we step closer into the heart of terror, don't forget to share this video, comment your thoughts on Henrik, and subscribe for more haunting tales from the past. The prairie was quiet that night. Too quiet. Henrik Olsen's cabin sat at the edge of town, smoke curling lazily from the chimney, no light in the windows. But something moved, a shadow slipping through the grass faster than any man should. The Thompsons' barn, doors creaked, something heavy inside. Mr. Thompson was the first to notice, waking to the sound of frantic clattering. He grabbed his lantern, heart pounding. Inside, chaos, animals scattered, feed thrown across the floor. But something was missing. Not just livestock, one of his prized horses, vanished. No tracks in the mud, only hoofprints that seemed elongated, uneven. Neighbors whispered, "Henrik Olsen," they muttered, "always Henrik." But no one dared accuse him aloud, not yet. Then came the whispers from the woods. Children dared not play near the edge anymore. Lila, the girl from last night, said she saw him again, standing among the trees, watching, smiling. "She talks nonsense," the adults said. "Children have wild imaginations." But the feeling in the air was undeniable. Something was watching, something waiting, smiling at the fear he inspired. Late one evening, the sheriff rode past Henrik Olsen's cabin, lantern in hand. The wind bit at his face. A figure appeared, silent, still, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "Henrik Olsen," the sheriff called. No answer, only the wind whistled back. Then a scream, high-pitched, terrified, from the Thompsons' property. The sheriff spurred his horse, galloped toward the barn, arrived to find the door ajar. Empty, silent. Nothing remained except the overturned hay and the echo of the scream. The town grew restless. Panic slithered through streets like smoke. Doors bolted. Fires kept burning late. Parents hugged their children tighter. Henrik Olsen, he was always there, watching, waiting, smiling at the fear he inspired. That night, everyone slept lightly, or not at all. And the prairie whispered his name. Before we step into the first true act of horror, remember to share this video, comment what you think Henrik is capable of, and subscribe for the next chilling installment. Night fell heavy over the prairie. Henrik Olsen's cabin was silent, smoke curling, shadows flickering in the dim light. The Thompsons' barn still smelled of fear, empty stalls, echoes of something wrong. Then it happened. Old Man Peterson was returning from the river, lantern in hand, boots crunching over frost-bitten grass. He heard it first, a whisper, soft, almost human, coming from the woods. "Henrik," the wind seemed to sigh. Peterson froze, heart hammering, breath visible in the cold night air. A figure emerged, tall, pale, smiling, eyes cold as ice. Henrik Olsen. Peterson tried to call out. Nothing came. Voice caught in his throat. Henrik stepped closer, silent, predator-like. And then, the scream. Not from Peterson, from the edge of the forest, the Johnson family's youngest, gone. No one saw him take her. No struggle, no sound, only the whispering wind and the echo of terror. Peterson ran, galloped into town, doors slammed behind him, people woke screaming. The sheriff grabbed his coat, lantern swinging. He and Peterson rode together to the Johnson farm. What they found? Empty house, no child, bed untouched. Just a small doll lying in the middle of the floor, eyes staring, mouth frozen in a silent scream. The townsfolk gathered, panic spreading like wildfire. "Henrik Olsen!" someone shouted, fear cracking their voice. No one had seen him, no one had caught him, yet everyone knew. He was there, watching, waiting, smiling in the shadows. That night families bolted doors, windows shuttered, fires burned bright against the cold darkness. And still, Henrik Olsen roamed. The prairie seemed to breathe with menace, whispering his name, warning them. The first horrifying act had begun, and the town would never be the same. Before we uncover how the town responds and the terror escalates, make sure to share this video, leave a comment on what you think Henrik will do next, and subscribe for the next of this chilling tale. The town could no longer ignore it. Fear had seeped into every house, every street, every heart. Parents held children tight. Farmers left fields unplowed. Merchants closed early. The sheriff called a meeting in the church, lanterns swinging, faces pale in the dim light. "Henrik Olsen," someone whispered, "we need to do something." But what could they do? He had no past, they knew, no records, no allies, only rumors and terror. Voices argued. Some wanted to confront him, others wanted to flee. Old man Peterson stepped forward, shaking, eyes wide. I saw him, watching the girl, taking her, smiling. Murmurs filled the room. Fear turned to rage. "We can't wait," someone shouted. "We need to stop him before more children vanish." The sheriff nodded, but his face was pale. "We don't know what we're dealing with. He's different." Outside, the wind howled. Shadows twisted across the walls. The prairie seemed alive, leaning in to listen. The town formed search parties, lanterns bobbing in the darkness, guns ready. Every cabin checked, every field scoured. But Henrik Olsen was nowhere to be found. Some said they saw him in the distance, just a glimpse, pale figure disappearing into the night. The more they searched, the more fear grew. Cattle still vanished, doors remained locked, children stayed inside. The Johnson family refused to leave their home. They sat in the dark, listening for the whisper of footsteps. The town realized they were trapped in fear, trapped on the prairie with a predator they could not see. Henrik Olsen did not need to strike every night. One disappearance, one sighting, that was enough. The prairie had become his kingdom, and the town merely his audience. As night fell again, every soul in town felt it. A presence, watching, smiling, waiting. And Henrik? He was always there. The prairie had grown restless. Henrik Olsen moved like a shadow, silent, watching, smiling at nothing. Every night brought new horrors. Cattle vanished, horses disappeared, dogs fled the town, howling into the darkness. People whispered of hearing voices at night, soft, cold, calling their names. Children woke screaming. Parents found windows open, doors untouched. Henrik's cabin glowed faintly in the moonlight, smoke curling from the chimney, but no one heard a sound from inside. Some claimed he saw him talking to the wind, laughing, smiling, whispering words no one understood. The sheriff tried to confront him, lantern in hand, pistol ready. Henrik was gone, just empty ground where he had stood. Then came the scream. A farmer found his wife missing. No struggle, no trace, just the faintest footprint in the mud, elongated, uneven, and cold to the touch. Panic gripped the town like a living thing. Search parties roamed the prairie at night, lanterns swinging, guns ready. Henrik never appeared, yet the fear was tangible, everywhere, always. Children stopped playing, dogs cowered inside, windows stayed shuttered, fires burned all might. Even the sheriff began to doubt. How could one man cause so much terror? Henrik Olsen was no ordinary man. He had become a ghost, a shadow, a nightmare that walked among them. And with each passing night, the town grew weaker, weaker in courage, weaker in hope. Rumors spread, stories of things seen in the trees, shadows moving against the wind, whispers that froze the blood. No one trusted the prairie anymore. No one trusted the night. And Henrik? He thrived, smiling at the fear he had created. The prairie waited, the town trembled, and the storm of horror was far from over. The prairie held its breath. A storm rolled in, thunder cracking over endless fields, wind ripping through fences and trees. Henrik Olsen moved through the darkness, silent, watching, smiling. The Johnson family's farm, lanterns flickering, windows shuttered, yet something felt wrong. Suddenly, a scream cut through the night. Mrs. Johnson stumbled into the barn. Her husband followed, but their youngest? Gone. No footprints, no struggle, just the whisper of something moving in the shadows. The townsfolk gathered, lanterns shaking in trembling hands, guns raised. Henrik was nowhere to be seen. Then the animals began to panic, horses rearing, dogs barking, cows bellowing. A shadow moved through the fields, faster than any man could run. Peterson saw it first. Henrik Olsen, smiling, his eyes glinting like steel. The sheriff aimed his gun, pulled the trigger. Empty. Click. Henrik vanished again, just a blur, a ghost. People screamed, children cried, parents clutched each other in terror. The storm grew louder, rain slicing through the night, lightning flashing, shadows dancing across the prairie. Henrik's laughter carried on the wind, cold, menacing. The town realized something horrifying. Henrik Olsen was unstoppable. He was everywhere and nowhere. The sheriff tried to organize a chase, lanterns bobbing through the mud, guns ready. But every path they took, Henrik had already been there, watching, waiting. By dawn, the town was shaken, exhausted. Fear gnawed at every soul. No one slept, no one spoke. All eyes turned to the prairie, waiting for the next horror. Henrik Olsen had begun his reign, a storm of terror that would consume the town. And the prairie whispered, promising more. Before the full horrifying truth is revealed, share this video, comment what you think Henrik's secret is, and subscribe to uncover the next terrifying truth. Dawn broke over the prairie, gray lights spilling across frozen fields. The town gathered, faces pale, eyes hollow, hearts heavy with fear. Henrik Olsen had struck again, and everyone knew it was only a matter of time before he struck once more. The sheriff called for a meeting. Inside the small church, lanterns swung, casting long shadows across the walls. "We can't wait," he said, voice trembling. "We have to find him, stop him." Old Man Peterson spoke up. "He's not like us. He's something else. You can't catch him like a man. He moves with the wind." Some shook their heads. "We have to try." Search parties were formed. Men armed with guns, torches, even pitchforks. They combed the prairie, checked every cabin, every barn, every shadow. Henrik Olsen was nowhere. But traces remained. Strange footprints in the mud. Hoof-like prints where no horse had been. Odd symbols scratched into the walls of abandoned barns. Children whispered of seeing him through fog, always smiling, always watching. The town grew frantic. Panic spread like fire. Families barricaded themselves in homes. Fires blazed all night. Dogs howled. The wind carried whispers. Henrik Olsen was becoming more daring, entering barns, touching doors, leaving small, sinister marks that chilled the soul. Even the sheriff began to doubt. How could one man, or whatever he was, create such fear? One night, a search party found a cabin deep in the woods, smoke rising, no light inside. They approached, guns ready, hearts pounding. Nothing, just silence. Then, a doll appeared on the doorstep, eyes wide, mouth twisted in a silent scream. Henrik's signature, a warning. The prairie seemed alive, watching, waiting. And Henrik Olsen, he was always one step ahead. The town realized the horrifying truth. He wasn't just hiding, he was toying with them, testing them, feeding on fear. The prairie held its breath. Henrik Olsen's presence was everywhere, yet nowhere. The town had chased shadows, searched barns, scoured fields, and then the truth came. It began with Old Man Peterson. Trembling, he stumbled into the church. "They're in the woods," he whispered. "The children, the animals, everything he's taken, it's not gone. He's keeping them." The sheriff frowned. "Keeping them? What do you mean?" Peterson shivered. He doesn't eat. He collects. He's not a man. Something older, darker, something that shouldn't exist." A hush fell over the room. Lanterns flickered, shadows danced. The townsfolk realized the horrifying truth. Henrik Olsen had been living among them, but not as a man. Something unnatural, something that thrived in fear. The children vanished, the livestock gone, symbols carved into barns, strange footprints, all clues pointing to a being far beyond human comprehension. And the worst part? He had been smiling all along, smiling as they feared him, smiling as he watched them scramble. The sheriff led a small party into the woods that night. Rain fell, mud clinging to boots, lanterns swinging, casting shadows like monsters. They reached Henrik's cabin at the edge of the forest. Smoke curled from the chimney. Silence pressed against their ears. Inside, they found cages, small ones, big ones, children, animals, all unharmed but terrified. Eyes wide, silent screams frozen on their faces. And Henrik, standing among them, pale, smiling, watching. "You fear me," he said softly, voice like wind over dead grass. "Good. Fear keeps me alive. The sheriff raised his gun, trembled, fired. Empty. Henrik vanished. Only the whispering wind remained. The town had seen the truth. Henrik Olsen wasn't a man, not entirely. He was a creature born of darkness and fear. The prairie itself had given him life, and now the town would never be free of him. Before the final chilling aftermath, share this video, comment on what you would have done if you were in the town, and subscribe to witness the terrifying conclusion. The prairie was quiet, too quiet. Henrik Olsen had vanished into the wind, smoke curling from his cabin's chimney, but no footprints remained. The town was scarred. Families huddled together, afraid of every shadow. Children slept with eyes wide open. Adults avoided the woods, the fields, even the empty streets. Some left, fleeing to other towns, but fear clung to them, always, whispering in every corner. The sheriff never spoke of that night again, never mentioned the cages, never explained how Henrik had disappeared. And the prairie? It waited, watching, silent, but alive. Stories spread, whispers of the pale man who smiled in the shadows, tales of the vanished children and animals, symbols carved into barns that no one could erase. No one knew if Henrik would return, but the town remembered. Every night the wind carried his laughter, cold, menacing, unrelenting. People spoke of glimpses, a shadow between the trees, a pale face in the mist, always smiling, watching, waiting. Henrik Olsen had become a legend, a nightmare born from the prairie itself, and the prairie never forgot. The town rebuilt, but fear lingered in every corner. Doors bolted, fires burned late, children were kept close. The name Henrik Olsen was spoken only in whispers, a warning, a shadow over every home. Even decades later, travelers passing through Dakota Prairie swore they saw him, smiling at the edge of the fields, silent, watching, waiting. Some secrets of the prairie are better left buried. Henrik Olsen's was not. And the wind, it still whispers his name. Before you leave the prairie of this story, share this video, comment on your thoughts about Henrik, and subscribe for more dark historical mysteries that will chill your soul.